path-breaking design for AGI, Part 8, Explanatory Power. Problems and solutions, representationally, are alike the ancient Chinese yin and yang. Problems may not have solutions, but solutions without problems is impossible. Solutions provide value that gives them the support necessary to survive. Something without sustained value creation cannot survive. Example, photographic film. Even a hypothetical paperclip maximizer will shortly cease to exist. Consciousness, feelings, and emotions solve the problems of information acquisition, communications, and abstract representations, as explained in previous videos. However, there are some loose ends to cover in the design described so far, and also the need to demonstrate the explanatory power of the theory behind the design. The explanatory features of the design. Solution space equals objects plus strategies plus algorithms plus actions. Solution equals bringing about favorable changes using a cluster of related perceptions. Problem space equals a rich collection of perceptions selectively triggered by events. Problem equals counterfactual gaps in related perceptions to be eliminated. Knowledge equals problem space plus solution space plus objects linked to perceptions plus clusters. Communications between problem and solution spaces require a third common space. That common space is the space of emotions and feelings. Intelligent system equals self plus subjective part plus objective part plus intercommunications. Subjective part affects the self by evaluating external events using the problem space. Objective part affects the self by using the solution space to propose solutions. The self is shown a preview of the outcome in a movie-like keyframe animation. Explanatory power of the design. What is the self? Why does it exist? How is it formed? Do machines need these? Learning from zero knowledge is the problem solved by the self, as seen in these figures. The clever statement in the figure on the left describes the problem of unavoidable circularity of representations and explanations when nothing is known. Self is the only concept that can be learned without circularity at the inception of learning. The limbs, senses, and the ability to will these to respond, and the associated experiences provide the experiencer with a feeling of oneness with that inner agent. Without the self to give context, reference, and support, learning cannot even begin. That is why self must be given the first UOD that gets continuously updated for life. Does memory have a role beyond short-term and long-term storage? There are two dimensions to memory or data storage: locations and values. This permits a design of location-based semantic tags to give meaning to transient/stored values. Note that in the brain, the location-based semantics is subjective with an outward focus. In the computer model, it is focused inward, dealing with objects. Modifying the memory model for flexible processing of subjective and objective semantics is essential for learning. A similar memory design is needed for the proposed POPs model that extends OOPS. How does the design enable critical thinking? Inform plus describe equals subjectively identify counterfactual gaps in perceptions. Discover plus explore equals objectively identify elements to close counterfactual gaps. Negotiate plus cooperate equals build proposed storyboards for subjective approval. Test plus revise equals request revision, if subjective constraints or concerns are violated. Integrate plus apply equals approve the controlled execution the selected/modified cluster. Explain language and humor, idea and creativity, and sleep and dream. Language makes it easier to build internal storyboards by eliminating unnecessary details. Storyboard helps eliminate ambiguities common in natural languages. Language can also be used to help other actors build storyboards. In this case, ambiguities might remain. Humor, the EPA gap between a prior perception built up on a storyboard, and a sudden new one created with a punchline, translates to an emotion we consider funny. Idea, a modification to a pre-existing cluster to attempt improve the solution it offers. Creativity, the ability to make an unusual combination of perceptions work together in solution clusters to produce favorable outcomes. Similarly, the ability to anticipate the problems that could be created by unusual combination of events would also qualify. Sleep, a state without external distractions that can allow the machine to widen its search for solutions with more reliable computations, and to work on dormant problems. Dream, a strange universe of discourse, UOD, that could be weirdly inconsistent, but can cause strange perceptions to come together to help create unexpected insights. These explanations of difficult cognitive concepts is a glowing testimonial for the design. Thank you for your interest.